guys, welcome back to my channel. Look at this gorgeous makeup look. Today I'm gonna show you how you can do it step by step so it can be easy for you to recreate, especially if you're a beginner. So I hope the tutorial is helpful. If you do like this look, I want you to leave a lot of roses in the comments below before you leave, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you are new. Okay, let's get started. As always, I'm gonna be using a concealer as a primer for my eyeshadows. I'm using the one from e.l.f. Cosmetics Camo Concealer, and I'm blending it out with the e.l.f. Cosmetics sponge. The very first important step is to blend out your concealer. If you want your eyeshadows to blend out very nice and smooth, the concealer has to be nice and blended and the tone has to be even on your eyelid. So don't move on to the next step until that is done. And for the style of eyeshadows, I will be using a tape on the outer part. It's gonna help you so much creating this makeup look. So that's another step you don't want to skip. For this gorgeous makeup look, I'm gonna be using this mini eyeshadow palette from Too Faced called Precious Gems. And first I'm gonna grab this eyeshadow right here using a brush from Luxie, and I'm going to apply this above my crease from the inner corner to the outer corner, also extending it just a little bit towards the tail of the eyebrow. Obviously you can see that the tone is not dark. You can barely see the tone, but I always want something under the, or like right above the shimmery eyeshadows that I apply on the eyelid. That way it's not empty in that area right there, and this is such a cute light shade. Next, I'm gonna grab this brown eyeshadow. This time I'm using a brush from Profusion number ES6, and I'm going to add this on the outer part of my eyelid. I want most of the product right there. Then with whatever's left on my brush, I'm gonna start blending it towards the center of my eyelid. That's where I want the eyeshadow to start fading away. I don't want this eyeshadow on the center of my eyelid, but I want it to be blended out in that area right there. And then I'm also going to extend it towards the tail of the eyebrow. When you're doing this, you don't want to have more product on the brush because you already want to start blending it out. Unless you want it a bit more dark and dramatic, then you add more of the eyeshadow. But right now I'm just extending it and blending it out at the same time. That way it's not as dark. Now I'm gonna grab a little more of the e.l.f. Cosmetics concealer, and with the flat brush from Anastasia number 18, I'm gonna add a dot right above the root of my eyelashes, and I'm gonna look up and you can see that it transferred right there, and that's how I'm gonna start the cut crease. To help make a cut crease really easy and look really nice is using a flat brush. I feel like that's very important. That way the edge can be nice and sharp. It also helps if you stretch your eyelid by lifting up your eyebrow. It just makes it a lot easier to create the line, and also make sure you don't have too much product on the brush, but you also don't want to have a little bit. Just make sure you have enough to create the line and then add more to fill in the rest of the eyelid. So I'm going to stop right on the center. I don't want the cut crease to go all the way to the outer corner of my eye. I want it to look nice and blended in the center area. So I'm gonna use the same flat brush. I'm just gonna make sure I don't have too more product on the brush, and I'm gonna start blending it out just in tapping motions. And like I said earlier, if you want the eyeshadows to be nice and blended, you want to make sure that the concealer is blended out really good. That's very important. So just keep blending it out until you don't see any harsh lines at all. Then I'm gonna grab the shimmery eyeshadow using this very small brush, and I'm going to apply it on the inner part of my eyelid. I'm going to leave the rest of the concealer for the other eyeshadow. Just make sure it's still creamy, that way the eyeshadow can grab onto the eyelid so it can last hours, and it also helps for the pigmentation to stand out. And then I'm gonna grab this other shimmery eyeshadow. This time I'm using this little sponge, and I'm going to apply it first on the center of the eyelid. That's where I want the eyeshadow to stand out the most. Then I'm gonna add a little more to the outer part. I want it to look nice and blended. I don't want to cover up too much of the brown eyeshadow that I have right there, but I do want it to look blended out. And then with whatever's left on the brush, which I make sure it's not too much, I start blending it towards the inner part of my eyelid. It has to be right on top of the first shimmery eyeshadow I applied right there. That way you can't see where the eyeshadows divide, especially since this one's a bit darker than the first eyeshadow I applied. Now you can leave it like this. It already looks really nice, but I did want to deepen up the outer part of my eyelid just a little bit. So I grabbed a black eyeshadow from a different eyeshadow palette, and I'm using this small brush from Rimmel, and I'm just adding it on the outer part of my eyelid. I'm gonna start by making it look like an eyeliner kind of. So I'm going to blend it out towards the center of my eyelid as close to the lashes as I can. And then I'm going to extend it towards the tail of the eyebrow, and I'm gonna add a few layers to to deepen it up a little bit. Now, you can see that right now it's looking more like an eyeliner and it looks a bit different from the other side, but this is how I want it to look. I want it to be nice and blended like a smoky eyeliner, so I don't want any harsh lines at all. So I'm just gonna keep blending it out using the same brush. I'm just gonna really quickly, I like to clean it like on the back of my hand or like my palm, because I like using the same brush to blend out the eyeshadows. I just want to make sure I don't add more product because I don't want it too dark or move it any higher or extend it even more. I will be extending it, but I'm like, as I'm blending it out, it's gonna move more towards the tail of the eyebrow without making it look too dark. Now for the lower lash line, I'm just going to add more of that black eyeshadow just on the outer part right here, connecting it with the eyeshadow on the very outer corner of my eye. That way it doesn't look weird in that area right there. But I'm just keeping it on the outer part. I'm not going to bring it towards the inner part or anything. I don't want the lower lash line to be too dramatic. So I am going to add the very first eyeshadow I applied on my crease, which is with like the very light color. I'm adding it on the lower lash line from the inner corner to the outer corner. I know you can't really see the color, but it does a little something. It also helps blend out the eyeshadow, the black eyeshadow, a little bit better. And I'm also adding a black eyeliner on my lower lash line. I'm using the one from Beauty, and I feel like this changes the look so much, and I love how it looks. It does make your eyes look small, so if you don't want that, skip that step, but I honestly love that look. And then for the last step, I'm going to apply the Better Than Sex mascara from Too Faced on my lower lashes. I'm only going to apply one layer, and that will complete this look. I want to know what you guys think in the comments below. Don't forget to leave roses in the comments if you did like it. Please share this video with your friends and your family, and give this video a thumbs up. Thank you all so much for your love and your support. I love you, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!